Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make these cards, you can visit my online store and the link is in the description box below. When you purchase Stampin' Up! Products through me, you can earn free products. Check out my current customer appreciation products on my blog. The link is listed below in the description. Today, I'd like to share with you a couple quick and simple alternative projects using the February 2021 paper pumpkin kit called Bouquet of Hope. So this kit includes everything you need to make these 9 cards, 3 cards in 3 different designs. And earlier this week, I shared my unboxing video, and I will link that up here in the top right corner along with some of my other alternative projects. And so you can see what comes in the kit and how to make the original projects, which are these 3 cards. So then what I like to do is take those supplies from the kit and just change them up, maybe add a couple things from my own paper crafting stash and create alternative cards. And so that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. Adventure awaits in next month's paper pumpkin kit. Here's to you. This kit includes 8 cards, 4 each of 2 designs, plus an added surprise worth celebrating, a set of 4 spectacular stencils, and a Stampin' sponge. Don't miss it. Subscribe by March 10th using the link below. So for this first card, it's a really quick and easy card, and you'll notice that there's no sentiment on it. And I thought that this card would be just a really great one to have as a blank card. And sometimes I like to have blank cards on hand just in case I run across a situation where I need something and I don't want it to already have a greeting or something on it. And so this is just a blank, beautiful card with the large bouquet as the focal point. So if you have seen my other videos, you'll know that I like to cut up the beautiful envelopes and use that pattern on the inside. For my first alternative, we used this Rococo Rose pattern, and we're going to be saving the top triangle for a future alternative project. So make sure to keep these on hand. And then we're going to be using the Bumblebee and Mossy Meadow. So to cut these, I always just start on one side and trim off just the smallest bit to remove that fold. And then do the same on one of the sides. And then I open it and then I trim it to the size I want. So let's start by removing the flap. And I'm just going to cut right along that score line. Then hold on to these. And then I'm looking for a piece that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this side here and then come down, and I can cut it at 3 3/4. And then I have a strip here, and you can save these for other projects. If you just need a little strip of paper, that's always good. And then we're going to trim again at 5 inches. So that's our first piece. And now let's move to the Mossy Meadow. And again, trim off the bottom. And then rotate to one of the sides. And then you can open it, and we're going to remove that triangle flap just on the score line and put that off to the side. And then let's go ahead and just remove this side here. And then we can start to cut it down to the right measurement. So we want this one to be 2 3/4. So we have this long piece here that we're going to save and use for a future project. So don't throw it away. And then we'll rotate and do 4 inches here. And again, you can save this piece. All right, so those 2 pieces are ready. And the only other things we need for this card is a card base, and I'm using thick, basic white cardstock. and it's already been cut and scored to my card base size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is my finished size. I'm just going to start by adding the bumblebee pattern onto my card base and just try to get that right in the center. And then place the Mossy Meadow in the center of that. So something like this. And then you're going to add the bouquet of flowers with dimensionals. And that's really going to help pop it up so that it adds that little bit of interest. And just place that right in the center. And then if you'd like and have some of these extra black sequins from the kit, go ahead and add just a couple of these up along the corner and maybe down in the bottom corner. So top corner and bottom corner. And your card is all done. So quick and simple, and just has a really great visual impact. So let's go ahead and move on to card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, we're going to be using a little strip of each of the envelopes just to add a little visual interest here at the bottom. And we've got the Just Jade card base from the kit. So let's go ahead and start there. So you're going to take that card base, there is a score line here in the middle, and you're just going to trim that right down. So it should measure at 4 1/4. And then we're going to actually cut just a little bit more off. Just move it down 1/8 of an inch. So now you're at 4 1/8, and then rotate and go to 5 3/8. And that's just going to give us a little border when we put it on our card base. So now we're going to take these triangles and we're going to trim from this little point. Do you see how the two different angles meet on that point? And there's one on each side, and we're going to do our best to trim right along that point. So I'm using my paper trimmer, and I'm just putting that point between my two sides of my blade guide, and hopefully it will give me a nice straight edge. It just keeps shifting on me. Okay, here we go. So then cut. And then you can take a pair of paper snips, and you can either go straight or go along with that angle and just cut off that white piece right there. Okay, and you're going to do that to all 3 pieces. And we are going to cut one last thing, and it is this vellum piece. Now in the kit, you get this really pretty gold frame piece of vellum. And what I am doing for one of my projects is I've removed the gold side and used them on 2 different cards. So let's go ahead and start. And you're going to start by removing the short edge first. And so that's a 4-inch piece. And then you line it up with the 3/4 inch mark. And just go ahead and trim that. And then rotate and do the same thing on the opposite side. So you're still working on the short side. It's going to give you a 4-inch piece that's about 3/4 inches wide. And then rotate now to the sides. Again, 3/4 inches. This one's just a little bit smaller than 3/4. So if you want to bring it down a 1/16 of an inch or so, you can do that, just to kind of remove the extra vellum. And it's 3 3/4 about is how tall that piece is. So let's do the same thing here. So we're just sitting shy, 1/16 shy of 3/4 inches, and cut. Okay, so now we have this center vellum piece that we're going to use behind our thinking of you greeting. So all our pieces are cut. Make sure you hold on to these for tomorrow's alternative project. All right, so you're going to need a couple other things to make this card. You'll need about 6 or 7 inches of the Mossy Meadow twine that came in the kit. You'll want the little yellow flower, and then your thinking of you sentiment. So let's go ahead and put the sentiment on our vellum. This is kind of a tricky sentiment to remove, so just take your time and just be really careful with it so that you don't tear it as you're removing it. So I'm just kind of popping it up, and then you can use your take a pick tool. There's a spatula side, and you can kind of hold it up with that as you start working the other parts out of the sticker. Okay, so there's that piece, and then we'll start working from the bottom. And kind of just lift it all up together. Okay, so then you'll just want to double check that you have removed all your extra pieces from the inside of those letters. And then this kind of just goes on your vellum. It looks like it goes on at an angle, but it's pretty much straight. We angle the vellum slightly. So that's where the angle's coming from. So it is going to kind of come off slightly. The Y and the K do kind of come up and off of the vellum. Just a little bit. All right, so that's on our vellum now. And so we can just go ahead and start putting our card together. I've got a card base of thick, basic white cardstock. And we're just going to add the Just Jade to the front. And it's just gonna go right in the center. There will be a slight border because we cut it down just a little bit. Next, we're going to add our 3 strips of pattern paper, and you can add these however you want. I'm going to use glue dots, and just to make it easier, I'm going to use the glue dots on a roll. I think I'm going to I like the pink in the center, so I'm going to do that one first. And I'm just adding a glue dot to each end. So just go ahead and place that about a 1/2 inch or so up from the bottom. And then you're going to add the other colors on the top and bottom. So I think for this one, I want to add the yellow on the top and see how that looks. And you can angle these, so they don't need to be perfectly straight. And then let's add the green on the bottom. It's kind of fun to switch things up and see how things look in different places. Okay. Next, we're going to add the vellum, and this we're going to add with glue dots as well. So I'm going to add the glue dots with my take a pick tool, and I'm just going to use the pointy end to pick it up off of my roll. And then I find some areas that have a lot, like a bigger space, kind of where letters come together, and I just add that glue dot there and then kind of change the shape so it fits inside, like behind the white. So that's kind of what we're doing here, is we're just kind of picking a couple different spots where there's a lot of white from the letters that we can hide the glue dots behind. So I'm just looking for maybe 4 spots here. And that will hold it in place. Let's put one right there. Okay, so you can see there maybe that there's some glue dots on that vellum piece. And then we just angle it on our card. If you don't like things angled, you're welcome to put it nice and straight. And then we're going to add our flower. And before we do that, we're just going to add a little bit of twine behind it. So we have 6 inches of twine. You're just going to find the center point by placing your ends together and then adding that. And I want it to kind of come out behind the leaves, so that's why I went that direction. And then you just loop it back and forth to create that bow look behind it, just like that. And then you'll add this to the card with a dimensional. Just go ahead and stick it over that twine to hold everything in place, and then place it down here in the corner. And then we'll add some sequins. Just a couple up in the top, and then maybe one down here by the flower. And your card's done. I hope you enjoyed watching me create these fun cards today, and that they've inspired you to make something fun with your paper pumpkin kit. If you're interested in seeing written instructions or close-up images of these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.